2021 Valspar Championship Media Room. Justin, it's your first tournament back since the Masters, and you'll be making your fourth appearance. Tell us about the addition of this tournament to your schedule.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. I love this tournament. I love this golf course. It's just always in a tough time of the year schedule-wise, and it's unfortunate because it is an unbelievable golf course, and I really do think that a lot more top players would play if it wasn't the case. I was going to play last year until the pandemic hit, so I was glad to be able to still keep it in my schedule and come this year. And I'm glad to be back.
And for the media joining us, if you have questions for Justin, please type your name in the chat. While we're waiting for a question, just played on the course. Can you speak to the Snake Pit and what challenges it proposes for the week?
Yeah, the golf course it's right in front of you. It's not anything that's tricked up. It's not anything that's hidden. It's all right there. You see the narrow fairway out there, and you got to hit it. And if you don't, you get out of position. You're really just trying to somehow make a par, and the greens are small and severe. And I think they're pretty receptive right now. But I think as the week goes on, if we continue to get weather like this, they could get very firm come the weekend, which would make it extremely difficult. And it's one of those places you can shoot over par so quickly. But if you have control of your ball and you hit it in the fairway, to where you can put the ball where you want on the greens. You shoot a couple under each day, you're going to be doing pretty good. So it's a great test. I like golf courses like that, but at the same time, you can't just kind of slap it around. You need to be playing well and have control of your ball.
Our opening question will go over to Steve DeMeglia with USA Today.
Justin, after the emotional win at the Players' Championship and then playing up to the Masters, did you really need that break after the Masters, and what have you been doing?
I probably wanted it more than I needed it. I always try to take time off after Augusta. I mean, whether it's definitely 1 week off. I mean, Harbour Town's another good example. That's a course I would love to play every year, but I've played Harbour Town after Augusta before, and I'm just not in the physical or mental state to be able to play a golf tournament after the grind the week of Augusta. So taking 2 weeks off was nice. I like to just get away. Obviously, right now it's a little bit different in terms of where I can go or where I can travel or whatnot, and really just take some time off, whether it's hang out with some friends or just get away from the game. But yeah, just relax and really just almost just kind of reset, if you will. I kind of feel like it's breaking the season up a little bit, almost into two parts, from how much we've played so far this season, and then the rest of the season. So I want to feel like I'm kind of fresh and ready to go, and that's the case. So it's just after taking some time off and relaxing and resting, just getting back into it and trying to keep getting better and better each and every day to where we feel like we're peaking, come this big stretch coming up.
And have you ever played Kiowa before? And if you have, your thoughts?
I played it when I was like 10, and I really don't remember it at all, to be honest.
Okay, thanks, Vic.
Yeah.
We'll go over to Doug Ferguson with Associated Press.
Do you remember if you broke 80 when you were 10?
I don't. The only thing I remember is that my dad putted it off I think it was like the third green, and he's always, at least when he played, especially back then, he was a really good chipper and putter. So when I watched him putt it off the green, I was like, these greens are pretty difficult.
Kind of along those lines, I'm just making that up. If you look back to either coming out of college or the year you spent on the Corn Ferry, what do you consider the weakest part of your game, and what did you consider the weakest part of the game, and what did you do to improve it?
In college and coming out, my off-speed short irons were definitely the weakest part of my game. I mean, I feel like I hit it long. I assume that's what you're talking about in terms specific part of my game. I hit it far enough in college. I mean, I didn't hit it much shorter than I do now, but I hit it plenty far enough to the yardage we were playing, especially in the Corn Ferry where it's a birdie fest, to where the greens were softer on the Corn Ferry than they were in college, because I felt like in college golf they set the courses up about as hard as they could. And being able to have that off-speed wedge, take the spin off of it, lower the flight if it gets a little bit windier, just have more control. That was something I struggled with. If I had a back pin from 90 yards, 95 yards, I would feel like I had to land it, in that 4-yard window past the pin to be able to keep it close because it would spin back. And I think that's something I see quite often, honestly, from college and players that are just coming out. And that's something I really, really worked on and learned, and something I kind of view as a strength of mine now.
Do you remember what made you think this is what I need to work on? Was there ever a moment, or did someone knock some sense into you, or what?
I remember, playing practice rounds with, like Phil and Rick and those guys, and Jordan playing when I qualified for a U.S. Open, or luckily my rookie year playing practice rounds with them, whatever it was, and just seeing the shots that they would hit, especially Phil being as good as he is with his wedges. But as funny as it is, JJ Van Wiesenbeck with Titleist, he was on the Corn Ferry with me, one of the reps, and we just were I remember it was so weird. I remember in Boise, we were talking about it. He's like, I think, that's a shot you can improve on. And I was like, it's right. It is a shot I've been working on, try to improve on. And then however many weeks later it was, when I won my first event in Columbus in that playoff event, I had about 80 yards to a back pin, and I hit a nice little dead arm lob wedge in there to about 3 feet. And that next week, I remember getting a text from him saying, I'm glad to see all that practice paid off. So, it's funny you remember little things like that, but it was nice to be able to hit a shot like that after I'd been working on it.
Great, thanks.
Up next, we have Bob Herrick with ESPN.
Thanks, Justin. Hey, I'm just curious. I don't know how much you get to play practice with Rory at home, or how much you've even been around him here over this busy stretch. But are you at all surprised at the struggles he's going through recently? To the point that he'd bring on another coach, and just wonder if you guys commiserate at all about these things.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. I think we all are. Rory's one of the most talented golfers I've ever played with, but I think something that is very underrated and people don't realize is how hard he works. He's out there a lot, puts in a lot of hours, and he's very similar to me, to where he always wants to get better, probably to the point where it hurts him at times, like it does myself. I've often spent time with my putting or my golf swing trying to perfect it, when in reality I just need to make work with what I have. But I have no issue with him, getting another opinion. That's something that we've always talked about, my dad and I. It's like, hey, if what you're doing, you don't necessarily need to completely change and go and, change coaches and trainers, whatever. But it's like, hey, if you feel like something isn't working, my dad's always said that, to where if we couldn't figure something out in the golf swing, we did it with Matt back in the day when I worked with Matt Killen on my putting. If my dad was like, hey, I just can't quite figure out why he's doing this, can you look at this? It's just having that second opinion, and sometimes hearing it said a different way just clicks for you, but then sometimes altogether a different coach the methods and theories might make more sense to you. So, he's clearly going to do what's best for his game. He's not just doing it because, I was playing poorly with this coach and I just need to change coaches because I'll start playing better. It's like he likes what he's saying. But the thing about Rory is I know he's going to work through it, and he's going to win a lot more tournaments and a lot more majors. And I still and always will have maybe more respect for him than anybody, because he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met for how much success he's had.
I know you went through a little bit of a lull yourself earlier this year before you wanted the players. Are these things a matter of, just from the outside, you're not as far away as it seems? It's, like, in other words, like in Rory's case, he's probably not really that far off.
Yeah,
maybe.
He's not. It never is, but you never are as far off as we're never as far off as we think we are, but it's just internally, when you're out there and you're not playing well and you're down on yourself, you feel like you're so far away, and it's a lonely sport, because you obviously have your caddy out there with you, but it's easy to just kind of get down on yourself and, at least for me, get kind of in a dark hole and like feel helpless, and it's a terrible feeling. It's hard to explain, but at the same time, like, if you're out here for 25, 30 years, like, you're going to have a lot of those. You're going to have a lot of slumps, if you will. It's just about minimizing those slumps and making them as short as possible, and learning from them, I would say.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Now to Tom D'Angelo with Palm Beach Post. Tom, go ahead.
Hey, Justin. The player impact program, I'm wondering how much you thought about it since this has come about, and also how much will you pay attention to it? There's a lot of metrics that go into it. It seems kind of there's a bunch of things, and how much will you actually pay attention to it and try to figure out where guys stand and things like that?
I'm not going to pay any attention to it. I mean, I'm not. Obviously, it'd be great to be the most popular, if you will, but I'm not out here for a popularity contest. I'm out here to win golf tournaments and win as many as I possibly can. If I play good golf, I'll do just fine on that program, and that's the main priority. But I mean, it's a cool deal. I mean, it's fascinating, and obviously a lot of people have a lot of different opinions and thoughts on it. But I mean, it's guys like Tiger and Phil that have pushed the game and got the purses where they are, got the game of golf where they are. They deserve to be on that, to be where they're going to be on that list. It's and anybody that thinks otherwise, I mean, I just highly disagree with it. It's the reason why we are where we are is because of certain couple people kind of in each generation and in each era, whatever you want to call it, and they're definitely a huge part of that. And I'm not going to pay attention to it. I mean, I'm not going to do anything differently. I mean, I'm already pretty active on social media. I'm already pretty active in trying to help out other media outlets or other organizations, charities, whatever it is, whether it's internally or known. But no, I'm just trying to play good golf, and the rest will take care of itself.
Thank you.
Now we have Adam Schupak with Golf Week.
Justin, was there a boys' spring break trip this year, and how has that whole thing evolved?
Yeah, I have a place in Nashville, so we got the band back together, if you will. I mean, Smiley and his wife are in Birmingham, so it's an easy drive, and Rick and Jordan both weren't playing, so we all just got together because we don't get to spend that quality time away from a golf tournament really ever. I mean, Smiley's and his wife have stayed randomly at our house when they've been down in South Florida. I obviously live on the same street as Rick, so I see him and Allison all the time, and Jordan and Annie. We'll see at tournaments, but it's at tournaments. It's not like fun. It's not, let's go hang out and do whatever we want all day. It's like, all right, we want to go play golf. Let's go play golf, and the girls can ride with us. We'll have a couple drinks. Like it's fun. We just want to relax and just be the high 20s, 30-year-olds. Like we don't want to feel like we're necessarily kind of held into like doing what we have to do, or like, okay, well, I'd love to go to dinner tonight, but I have an early tea time tomorrow, or whatever it might be. It's like, hey, let's just all get together, relax, just laugh, listen to music, just do stuff that we wish we could do, but with our busy schedules, we aren't able to. So I was really glad that we could, because they're some of the best people I've ever met, and it was nice for us all to be able to spend some time together.
All right, well, one last one. Paul Casey's going for the rare three-peat. He's got 3 tour wins, 2 of them at Valspar. What is it about the Copperhead course that you think is such a good fit for his game?
I think it's a ball striker's course, and Paul is definitely known as a really good ball striker. I mean, when he's on, it's really impressive. I mean, the sound his ball makes when it comes off his irons, compresses it. It's a short, compact move. It's fun to play with, and it's fun to watch. And I think there's some holes out here you really got to drive it well, and you really got to hit it straight. And I think he drives it really well, but he doesn't move the ball a lot. It's a very tight little draw, I think, when he's hitting it well, or at least I would, from my vantage point. And there's not many golf courses that don't fit Paul Casey's eye or his game when he's hitting it well, and I think that's proven over the years.
Thank you.
And we will go back over to Steve DeMeglia.
Just a couple quick ones, Justin. Will you go to Kiowa before PGA Championship?
I won't. I'm not going to have time to. I mean, I'm playing, I think, 5, well, I guess the next 2, and then an off weeks. And my off week, I just kind of want to relax and stay at home. I might try to go a day early or something like that.
And seeing as you were born in Louisville, and I'm looking for every reconnaissance I can get and every data, you have a Derby pick.
I don't. It's so funny to me. Every single year on the Derby, all my friends text me because they think because I'm from Louisville, I know everything about horse racing there is, when in reality I don't. I don't know very much. And I mean, I do know that it is, especially the Derby, the favorite does win a lot, especially it has in the past, and that's such an easy thing to say, but it just, the cream rises to the top when it's a situation like that. And to answer your question, no, I do not. I can't give you some in-depth analysis, and if anybody is listening, don't text me because I don't know.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
For our final 2 questions, we'll go back over to Doug Ferguson and then Ben Everett. Doug, go ahead.
Sorry, Haley, not to interrupt you there. I had one other one I wanted to ask you, though. I keep hearing good ball striker quite a bit. How many bad ball strikers are out there? You don't have to give names, but how many, what percentage or what number of players would you say is like a bad ball striker? Yourself excluded, of course.
I mean, there's some. There's not. there's some. It's like anything. I mean, there's plenty of guys in the basketball that suck at free throws, but they're really good basketball players. Or there's plenty of guys that are, in football that are maybe, they're bad route runners, but they're good catchers. It's just it's there's plenty of things in my game that I can improve on, but yeah, there's some.
Okay. And the other thing is, when if I were to ask you about Jason Duffner, what comes to mind?
Duff. Do you know I'm staying with him this week? Is that why you asked that?
I did not know that. And I'm not sure I wanted to know that either. But
Duff, man, there's so many.
Underrated?
Where is he under?
Let me be more specific. In what ways do you think Duff is underrated?
He's extremely intelligent. He is, especially when it comes to the golf swing. I can't. If I'm sitting with Jordan and I, I can't really give anything to that conversation because they know a lot more about the golf swing than I do. I understand where I want it to be, but I can't speak that. I'm more feel and there are more mechanics, and Duff is just, he studies a lot, it's about everything. I mean, even, stuff going on in the world or stuff going on in sports, he knows a lot, and he's really, really intelligent, but you look at him and you're like, what the hell is this guy doing? He doesn't know what's going on, but it's he's so quiet, but man, he seriously is one of the nicest guys. He would do absolutely anything for any of his friends, and it's a really cool thing. But at the same time, I love when Duff gets going because he will literally say anything to anybody, and he does not care who's around, and that makes him Duff.
Perfect. Is he a good ball striker?
Duff's a really good ball striker.
Okay.
He is my roommate this week. He knows where I'm sleeping, so I can't say too much.
Thank you, Doug. And we'll finish up with Ben Everett with PGAtour.com.
Thanks, mate. Just woken up in California, so I missed the start. Sorry about that. Asking one for a friend. Can you give us the plus and minuses for the weeks you have a family member as a caddy?
I mean, the minuses are definitely personal, and you don't want to get in some kind of fight because it's not all great out there. Most of the time it isn't great, and unfortunately the caddy is there to be the sounding board on the other side of your frustrations. So if that person doesn't handle that well, then that's probably not going to be a good situation. But the good part is that you're comfortable with them. I mean, everyone's different on the golf course. I mean, I'm not somebody who, I love my dad to death, and my dad's great. But other than my dad, I wouldn't want any other family member on my bag because I'm intense. I'm serious. I don't want a buddy out there to just kind of laugh, and it's not a hit and giggle to me. It's serious. So, but some people treat it a little bit more that way, and it's not wrong. It's just how they are. So for me, it's probably I have a lot more on the minus column than the plus column.
That's all we needed, mate. Appreciate it. Have a good
Yeah.
week.
Thanks.
That's all the questions we have. Appreciate you taking the time, Justin. And